So we are here at the Windsor News Cafe. I'm Vincent Georgie, Executive Director of the Windsor International Film Festival, and I'm here with Angel Borrego Cubero, Director of the Compeition, which is making its North American premiere here at WIFF this evening, Sunday, November 2nd. Angel, welcome.
Hello, how are you?
Very well. So, first of all, welcome to Canada. How does it feel to be sharing your film now with a North American audience?
Well, it feels great. So far, the reception that I've had at the opening party was great, and people seem to be excited about it. I'm really thrilled to be here.
Excellent. Can you tell us a little bit more about your film?
Well, the film documents the process of one architectural competition from the moment where the architects design for the assignment to where they actually present it to the jury. So it's a little bit all of the design process typical of a competition, architectural competition. That's what the film shows.
The film is a very impressive film, and what really stands out is the incredible access that Angel has in the film. The footage you have is absolutely incredible. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you gained such access to the film, to all this footage and is so insider? How were you able to get permission to do so much inside work?
That was one of the main ideas about doing the film, was showing trying to be transparent about two things. One is how architects design, how they make decisions about design, and how decisions are taken at the jury level. So how a jury decides. So those two processes are pretty opaque usually. So it's nobody knows how the real design decisions are made, and nobody knows how the jury decisions are made usually, right? You end up just with the result. So how was that? So that was the main thrust of the project.
Was it difficult getting people's permission to participate?
I think that thinking about it in time, I think that original thrust is what makes it that way. Because in fact, access was not so easy in the end. But to answer the truth, to answer the question very shortly, access was gained through the client. We knew that we had to convince a client that was organizing a competition that the documentary would be a good idea to make along with the project. We happened to find one client that thought so, and that's how we ended up doing the film.
What was it like transitioning from being an architect to a filmmaking architect, and now do you consider yourself a filmmaker that is an architect that makes films? How has that changed your identity as an artist?
It really doesn't. In my head, I don't know in other people's heads. That's part of the interesting parts of everything. It's the opaqueness of things. But in my head, it hasn't changed. I'm still an architect or an artist or whatever you can call it. But I'm interested in how space is made and how space is decided and negotiated. And the only thing is that instead of doing a book about competitions, which is something architects do and never get confused by a writer, you're not a writer, you're an architect that does a book. Well, I just did a film because I thought that the competition was, the nature of the competition fit more into the shape of the documentary or a film, because it's like a thriller, right? So that was the only, I don't know. Seriously, nobody knows. Nobody knows.
What have audiences' reactions been to the conclusion of the film? The conclusion of the film for me was very shocking. What have reactions been?
They always laugh a little bit, yeah. For a film, that was a nice way to end. So it was good for the film in a way. It could have been good many other ways, but this one was good. I think it's a nice ending. Well, not I'm not sure if it is nice, but it's a common enough ending and natural enough ending. Kind of fits the nature of the film.
What is it that you hope your film shows the world about architecture?
Well, I think the most interesting thing is that, and the basic information that I get from it is that architects compete very often and very differently from any other profession. There is no other profession in the world that you have the main practitioners, competing publicly for the same work. So there is no other profession. You can look for it, but there is no other profession where you find the best ones at it still competing in the open for a commission. So that's very particular of architecture. It has been through the centuries, and I think it's very beautiful that you find that happen in one profession at least, and that happens to be architecture.
The film is The Competition. It's making its North American premiere here at WIFF. This is part of the architecture series of films brought to us by the St. Clair Region Society of Architects, and this specific film is brought to us by the Architecture Club of St. Clair College. I'm Vincent Georgie here with Angel Borrego Cubero, director of The Competition.